Howdy, y'all. Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee. And today on the HermitCraft server, my castle might be looking good on the outside, but I hear it's what's on the inside that counts. We can't get to that now, though, because if you look a little bit above us, things are getting out of hand up there. I can tell pretty clearly that the moon is bigger than it used to be. It used to be if I looked at the camera like this, the moon was about the size of my head, and I could be like, look at me. I've got cool old man haircut. But now it looks like I'm the guy from Spaceballs. You know what I'm talking about. You're old. Anyway, let's zoom in on our face. That's even more disturbing. Nobody has time for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead this episode and try and build some sort of mechanism by which we can measure the size of the moon in relation to us and, hopefully figure out how much faster it's getting bigger, or if it is getting bigger. It is possible we're actually getting smaller, and that's pretty disturbing because we already fit onto your phones. How much smaller can we get? It can't be safe. Behind us are Hypno's Mushroom and our castle. Ahead of us, though, is the perfect location to build our lunar observatory, or our, lunatic measurement asylum. I don't know. We'll come up with a better word for it later, but feel free to post your guesses about what word I come up with in the YouTube comment section below. The big thing about this place that's super important is it's close to home, keeps the commute down. Every 5 minutes you add to your daily commute is a full day of vacation time you're missing. I'll let you do the math. Second, we've got a clear view of both the Western Ocean and the Eastern Ocean. So we can judge when the moon is hitting either horizon, how big it is in relation to other things hitting the horizon, like the sun, or, a bumblebee, or Grian with an elytra. We can judge all sorts of things because we know how far away the horizon is. We know how far away we are from our measurement thing. Oh yeah, we should build our measurement thing. So, just as a quick concept, the idea is if we have some sort of aperture here, let's just say we build this. This is not the final version, but this is roughly what you might imagine it looks like. We could measure how far out and mark how far away we have to stand from it to see the moon perfectly align with its edges, right? And that's a way that we can create a numerical representation of the size of the moon. So let's say that the moon rises and it fills the spikes perfectly when we stand at this point, right? We could put a sign down or a torch and mark it. But then the next day, it turns out we had to stand here for the moon to fill it. Well, hey, now we've seen, okay, it's moving this speed. But then the next day, if it gets even bigger, we can mark that. So, honestly, these spikes are probably too close together to use because the moon's already pretty big. Also, they're made of wood, and they'll probably biodegrade. Stuff like this traditionally would be made of stone, like a Stonehenge or stone lunar landers or whatever. So, we're going to go ahead and, get some rocks, come back, and try and do this right after we say howdy to Scar. Time skip! All right, we have destroyed those wooden spikes, and, one of the things I learned when I was doing the wooden spikes was it was hard to mark with a torch, exactly how big the moon was in the center of it. So let's go ahead and say we want to have an odd-numbered aperture. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start kind of leveling this out. Maybe we didn't need to level this out. Maybe I should have just built the thing higher or leveled it out the other way. I should have added instead of subtracting. You know what? I'm not a math magician. I'm barely a mathematician. By which I mean I took college-level calculus, and I passed. Okay, wait. There's your moon. There's your moon already. Look. Okay. So let's say we mark where the moon is today at 9:47 U.S. Central Time, Wednesday, November 17th. The moon is here. And it perfectly seems to fill these in, right? So then if it's bigger tomorrow, on the November 18th, we'll know. I feel like this torch is maybe not perfectly centered for it, but if we go back to here, that's definitely... It feels like it's kind of between these two. Maybe the wider the aperture is, the more we can do, the finer our measurements can be, right? Because if we had a wider aperture at like 11 wide, we could mark where that was. And I didn't bring a bed, and it's getting late. Let's go ahead and try not to panic, but also I'm going to kind of panic now. And then we'll come back, and let's do this with a wider aperture and see if that helps. Because, like, I hate that, like, I feel like what I want to mark is right in between these two blocks. That just doesn't feel good to me as someone attempting to gather data. Time skip! 7 wide was too small. I feel like we should go up to 11. Then we'll go ahead and put our little silverfish head there, just to let Cleo know we're not afraid anymore, right? I did bring more signs this time. I brought a bed so that we can reset. Oh my gosh, the moon is already rising though. Let's get our sign out. And okay, so let's see from here if we're aligned properly. Oh, this is a much more refined method. Boom. Done. So when we come back further, obviously it's too big. When we go any closer than that, it's too small. See, it works. And now we know exactly where it was. And we also need to put a bed down before mob spawn. And ender pearl into it to get way into the bed. You know, you don't want to have to, like, climb under the sheets. Wait. So just for reference, the sun on this... How far away do we have to get for the sun to be that size? It's further than we have out here. Hold on. That is about the sun's width right now. So we'll mark this as sun, November 17th, 2200. So we know what time we got the measurement. And we'll say central. Done. We'll ink that. I might want to get a different color ink for the sun versus the moon readings. But just if you look at how far we had to run between those two signs, the moon is clearly larger than the sun now by a good distance. We could actually even apply some math to these measurements to figure it out. I don't know that I want to go that far yet. I think what I want to do is come back another day and see if the moon is any different. Time skip. What I need to do is I need to dig up and mark the center channel here. I don't want to delete that sign. But, like, yeah, we need to mark this entire center channel so that I can easily align it. And I want to put in a block that has a center line, right? So these stone bricks, for example, have a center line on them that will make it really easy to tell if I'm aligned properly. Boom. So we're going to just go roll through like that. Boom. And hey, so now I can look down and I can tell, like, am I aligned on the center? Yeah. And then I can look up, and then I can hopefully, you know, make sure my measurements are on there. Yeah. But you know what? We can probably do better. So I'm hoping each day I come to measure this place will be a little bit prettier and more visually pleasing. Right now we have what we call a minimum viable product. We have a core concept that we can test using these two posts with these two silverfish heads I stole from Cleo so that she doesn't intimidate me with them, because she's never going to come over here and find them. But yeah, this I think is a solid start. Time skip. We took our first formal recording yesterday, November 17th. Today is now November 18th. So let's see where, if we stand right here, the moon looks pretty much almost exactly the same size as it did yesterday. Hold on. Let's line this up. Boom. That looks like where we're at. Huh. So we're still on the same block. And we're about 4 pixels forward. Now, well, there's a shake. We'll worry about the shakes later. But okay, so we're 4 pixels forward. When I got this measurement, we were 2 pixels forward. So I guess I need to find a way to mark these in terms of how many pixels far from the back of the block I am. Or I need to find a way to measure more accurately. What I think we want to do is, in theory, if we increase the size of the aperture by double, geometrically, that wouldn't necessarily give us, instead of a 2-pixel difference, a 4-pixel difference. But, I mean, as a rough napkin math mechanism, that's not crazy either. So, how wide would an 11 wide one be? We'd have to go out significantly further here. And I'm almost hesitant to do it on the same track as this mechanism. Because in a lot of ways, if we have more than one mechanism, we want to have them operating in parallel so we can test on both of them and make sure that we haven't screwed up anything with either. So perhaps what we do is we build another pillar that is twice as far out over this way. And then we maybe extend this plateau with some sort of measurement platform. Would that make sense to y'all? Let's go ahead and give that a try. So we're going to use this pillar here as the left aperture post. We're going to get some basalt, and we're going to go out, let's say 20 or 30 something, definitely an odd number that way, and then build a platform. So that works well. And then what we'll do is we'll reinforce the next block as well with a similar mechanism. We got to go get more blocks and feed them into the grinder. But yeah, so we can basically have these posts every 10 blocks. That'll also help us measure how far out we're standing. If we know this is block 0, this is block 10, this is block 20, this is block 30, this is block 40, this is block 50. Right now, we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're somewhere in the 60s here on November 18th. Oh, I put the wrong time. It should be 21:35 Central. Boom. Let's fix that. And there we go. So, once again, this is not done, but we're making progress. We're establishing a better foothold here. We're discouraging mobs from spawning and blowing this up. And I think if we keep coming back every day for a few days, we could eventually create like a really cool plaza here. So let's go ahead and keep at it. Time skip.
You a netherite? When did you get netherite?
Oh, I've been gathering netherite. You have candy corn.
No,
Like, how come you can have a thing and nobody's allowed to ask you about it? Well, I have candy corn. Where's it going?
Candy corn. I mean, it's Ravager tooth, but
sugar-coated Ravager tooth.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, I've done all the texturing on the wall except for when I run out of birch logs. And
I've got a ton of birch at this other place I want to show you.
Oh, that's excellent. Okay.
Look, this is my lunar observatory. It's pretty awesome. I built a little shack too, like a research hut to sleep in.
I noticed the shack that you built. Okay, so would you care to explain what is going on?
Sure. So, because I don't know what's going on, I decided to measure what's going on in hopes that it would give me some sort of sense of control. It's actually just broadly causing me to spiral, which is why I'm now wearing all this netherite armor. But anyway,
should I be spiraling? Is this a thing that I should be doing?
I'll let you see the data and then draw your own conclusions. Okay. So
okay.
You understand like the fundamentals of how vision works, but for our viewers, right? If something is far away, the further away it is, as you approach it, the more slowly it grows in size. So something that's very close to you, as you approach it, will appear to grow in size visually quicker than something further beyond it, right?
Right, okay.
So, these posts here, between these posts is an aperture through which we can view the moon. This down here, these two posts on the far left are closer together. This area is a little bit overrun.
Did you take my skulls?
Those could have come from anywhere.
Those could have come from any one of my chests. Yes.
Any one of your chests. Maybe I wanted to make sure you never use them against me again, and I forgot that I was bringing you here. And that was
I see.
a less well thought out plan than the rest of this. But anyway, so I started measuring the moon over here, the 17th and the 18th, and I realized the problem was that, like, for the most part, when the moon seemed to get bigger, I didn't have enough runway to move forward and back. Although it did jump forward on the 19th to about here. So
you're just measuring the width where they are width-wise and the block.
Yeah. So if you come over this way, though, we've got our newer, more precise measurement system. These two posts are further apart, and so I can get more precision with my measurement distance. So the 18th, it seemed to move. It seems to wobble a little bit. It'll go from the midpoint to the back edge or so of the block. The 19th, it was basically on the front edge of this block. Basically, I'm marking, if I stand on the front edge of this block, the moon precisely fills the aperture, right?
Okay, which way are we looking? Because the moon rises over there.
The sun sets there. The sun sets behind us, and the moon rises here. And the thing is, because of the way the moon keystones as it rises, you want to measure it right when the middle of it is in your crosshairs, because otherwise it'll keystone awkwardly.
Should we ask people to not sleep for a bit?
No, because the moon actually has started rising earlier, it seems. So they couldn't actually go
that's not good.
Well, I think
that's not good.
I think it's rising at the same time as usual, but it's so much bigger that the leading edge of it is...
So this is the question that I want to ask you.
Okay.
Is it bigger or not as far away? Because those are two different things. Either it's expanding or it's getting closer.
Comedy third option, we're actually getting much smaller. Could be that big tie-in with the Quantum Mania Ant-Man thing that everybody's been waiting for.
Yeah.
They're like, Joe, obviously you are Kang the Conqueror, and Cleo is Lady Loki, and this is all going to go really wild. So, you know.
So wouldn't the sun change as well in that instance?
No, because the sun's further away from us, and so it's actually the same effect I was talking about before. The further away something is, the less quickly it seems
it changes.
Yeah. So that's why stars, being incredibly distant, are always the same size.
Okay, now, oh my god.
Oh yeah, you see what I'm saying? So yeah, you just figure out where on the track here that that is not good. Is it up there?
That's not good. Is there?
Okay. Womp womp.
Joe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a sign so we can mark this. Let me. I left all my signs in here. Just stand wherever it is, and then I'll mark it.
There.
Oh, dang it! I'm out of signs. I'm gonna have to make more. Yeah, don't lose your spot.
No. I'm just gonna sit here and be anxiety person at the moment.
Okay.
I mean, if it's getting bigger, then its proportions are staying the same.
Well, wait, is it better if the proportions don't stay the same? Like, if one end is like a genie bottle?
Well, if it was expanding, you would expect some sort of distortion.
Okay, here's a sign for you. And
okay.
I was going to say you need to mark the time, but you probably don't know the time in U.S. Central Time. It's 1408.
2008. 2008.
1408.
GMT. 2211? 21.
Today is...
Okay,
today's
so now
the
we've got it in
22nd
American
of November.
time. Yes.
Yes,
I've said that.
And was it like... was it near the center of the block, or was it...
It was towards the... It was like sort of... I was here, like just at the edge of it, just beginning on that block.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. So when we jumped last time, so it seems like the 18th and the 17th, it was generally the same size. It was back here. So then the 19th and the 20th and the 21st, it was around this cluster. And so it has jumped forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks or so, last time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So hey, it seems to be getting larger more slowly.
It's slowing down at least. What the heck?
So, I mean, maybe it'll stop and go back the other way. Because, like, I have noticed some wobble to it, where sometimes it's, like, a little bit closer and sometimes it's a little further, just by a few pixels. But that's why we have this instrument, so we can measure this, right? So, like,
right.
Maybe whatever's causing it to wobble is also causing it to slow down.
Yeah, or maybe the distance or the speed is the maximum we're getting to, but I don't... Okay, Joe, like, which of these problems is worse? The moon is getting bigger or the moon is getting closer? Is the question that we need to ask.
I mean, as long as it's maintaining the same, mass, it getting bigger. If it's getting bigger in all directions equally, right?
Right.
Then it doesn't matter how dense it is, as long as it maintains the same center of gravity, right? So it would not affect anything gravitationally elsewhere, because it wouldn't be like changing its orbit, right? The center of gravity of a dust cloud, the mass of the moon, that's 8 times bigger than the moon, would not impact anything else gravitationally. So that seems better.
Okay. So the moon getting bigger and remaining the same mass is better than the moon getting closer and retaining the same
it
mass.
is possible that the moon is gaining mass and pulling us out of our orbit, which would cause some of the gravitational effects we've seen.
At which point... I hate that you told me that, Joe. Okay, so the real question is, what do we do in either of those situations?
Well, I've been going to get more netherite armor. So, you know,
because
there's
that's going to save you from the moon, Joe.
Well, I'm
The moon.
sorry. Enchantments are really kind of overpowered in this game, and so is netherite. So, I mean, I figure if I double down, you know.
Okay. Like, we're going prepper is what we're saying. We need to come up with a survivalist.
No. I'm like, here's the thing though, is like I'm kind of overdue for netherite armor anyway, right? Like we're 8 months into the season and I'm still wearing diamond and gold. Like, you know, I'm just using this as an excuse to buy myself, well, not really buying it. An excuse to go pick up myself stuff that I probably should have had anyway.
Should have had.
Yeah, like when COVID hit, and I was like, you know, just in case we can't go out anywhere, let's buy a lot of Legos to play with. Like, maybe I wanted to buy a lot of Legos anyway, you know?
Maybe.
So, like, I mean, I'm not going out there and, like, buying barrels of bourbon and, you know, shotguns.
Okay, so my anxiety is spiked. I'm just going to start digging a hole.
Do we need to make something to measure that?
No, it's just...
Womp. I'm not getting a jump boost.
No jump boost. I'm not seeing a boost. Which is more concerning if that's the thing that's happening.
Well, that definitely means it's... I mean, also, if the moon was becoming, like, maintaining the same density, it probably wouldn't, I mean, it probably wouldn't look the same. Like, right now, it seems to have the same sheen. Like, it's the same light level as it was.
I'm like, okay, so just the hole, and we're mole people now, Joe. That's what's happening here. Is that okay? Can I do that?
I mean, Cub actually has an entire mole people base we could go hang out in. Although I don't think we're supposed to know it's him. So, like, maybe if we pretend he shouldn't know it's us, he'll let us in. We'll be like, I'm Moly Molio, and I'd be like, I'm Mole Moles.
I'm Ben Molio. That's what you got to do. Oh my goodness, this is. Okay, right. I can do this. I can get supplies. I can prep. I've played many games that have prepared me for this moment. It's just hiding. It's just hiding. That's it. Okay.
I believe in you, Cleo.
Okay, well, no, you don't, Joe. It's fine.
I know,
It's
you're
fine.
terrible at hiding.
We don't have to be nice to each other, Joe, if
See, that's
if
the real reason I
everything's
needed the
happening.
netherite. This episode actually took me about a week longer to record than I expected on account of getting COVID. I'm recovering now, folks. Thank you so much for all your support and your kind words. I was going to try and get one more measurement in here. It is the 4th of December today, so we're going to get a sign out here, and we are going to put that... Oh, jeez. That is... Not thrilled about this. That's bad, probably. I mean, it doesn't look great. Yeah, so that's going to be December 4th. Yep, but that's your moon. Oh, boy. Maybe it's a little bit forward, but whatever. It's close enough. So if we go back to where we were standing the very beginning of this measurement experiment, the moon is now filling that much of the horizon, which is a little bit worrisome. But you know what? That's something to worry about another day. For right now, I need to acknowledge that you may have noticed that this episode was mid-roll ad-free, and that's thanks to Patreon sponsor Kathleen Heath. In lieu of that mid-roll ad, I will now read a poem of my own devising, which I have entitled Gratitude. Thanks, I say, over and over. Thanks, I say, but it's never enough. Not because others are ungrateful of my gratitude, but because what I owe to others, to their patience, to their kindness, cannot be repaid with words or one word. Thanks, I say. Above and past that, thanks I must do. Until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.